So we went to the juice bar, and then when she came in and said, "Mark, come outside," came outside, and then he was I held him, I was holding his hand, and he was like, "What's she talking about? What's she talking about?" I said, "It's all right." He said, then the next thing you know, his eyes rolled in the back of his head, and then I could feel the life drain out of his body.
What's up, everybody? This is the world famous Ed Lover, and you are watching Forgotten Kings TV. That's right, Forgotten Kings TV. Come on, son.
I want to also talk to you about, God Bless the Dead, Black Rob. I remember a couple years ago, you were very emotional putting out the video announcing the news. I don't want to get too in deep with details, but I have to ask, man, looking back, it's been over 2 years now. Is there any regrets, about how Black Rob's, last days were handled leading up to his passing?
Nah, because what I always say is a lot of people who feel like his last days was his best days or his most important days. His last days really didn't matter. It's the days that he was living that really matter. So a lot of people I don't never look at Black Rob and say his last days, because he still lives within me. So I'd be like, I don't, some things you just don't never let it die. Like you only die when people stop loving you and they don't think of you no more. So there's not a such thing as last day. So I kind of felt like the title of that was just wrong, because that's not it. And then nobody really knew him like people who thought they knew him. I'm like, they didn't know him like, they if you ain't been evicted with Black Rob, or if, like, for an example, I'm gonna give you an example. This is just the truth, all right? So Black Rob was staying with my homeboy WAP, right? Mm-hmm. And then Black Rob he used to have remember when he got in trouble going into the hotel and while the lady was asleep and taking something, and then he got in trouble?
You put me on with it. I'm learning it now. Okay.
It was a hotel that we was out there. I was there. And then Black Rob, we was going back into the hotel. I think it was on 77th or something. And then he got arrested. He went to jail for it because he went into a lady's room while she was asleep and took something out of a purse or something, or a wallet or a computer or something, right? It was something he did, right? He got arrested for it. So when he was down here in Atlanta living with my partner, you understand, he had went into somebody's house and did the same thing. So they kicked him off the premises. And they said that if we see him back on the premises, we're going to have him arrested. So when people be like, well, how come he ain't go do this? Well, how come he ain't go stay with this person? He couldn't go there because they did. And that was not for nobody's business to know why he couldn't. He couldn't go there. He going to go to jail. Mm-hmm. So everybody who was, they talking about this and that, they didn't really understand the story. Like why? They was just running their mouth because they just feel like, hey, this is interesting. They would have Black Rob when he was missing dialysis. They got him at a fair. They got him at the mall. Like people running up on him, Black Rob. I had to go meet him at the mall, man. And they just dragging him around like a weekend at Bernie's. When I'm gonna tell it to you like this. But when Black Rob died, right? Mm-hmm. We went to my partner juice bar, the same one that he couldn't go to his house. We went to the juice bar. I go in the juice bar to get him some drink, and a lady named Queen was driving. She was with us, and she's a person who, like, when a person wants to give up on like dialysis or they just don't want to go, that she helps you with your transition stage in life.
Okay,
that makes sense. Mm-hmm. She had been with him for like a week or so like that. My partner, WAP, the same dude, he told him, he put them together. So he felt comfortable with her. She was helping him, massaging his muscles, whatever it is that he needs to be comfortable. And so I'm inside the joint and she come running in. She said, Mark, come outside right now. So I go outside and then Rob, he like woke up real quick. And then he had, his nose was real, he had it was runny. And his nose was running already that day when I got to the hotel, because he had said that to call Mark Curry that morning. So she called me. So when he called me and when I couldn't get in the room until she got there. So when she got there, she had the key. We went in the room and Rob was on the floor. And she was like, I brought Mark with me. And he was like, Curry. He was like, Curry, yo, I fell and I can't get up. He said, I can't get up. He was like, I can't feel my legs. So then I was like, oh man. So I put him in the wheelchair. We put him in the wheelchair. And then he didn't want to go out the hospital with people seeing him in a wheelchair. He wanted to walk out like nothing was wrong. But he had to get in this wheelchair. So I put him in the wheelchair, take him to the car. We trying to get him to the hospital. And he told me that, Mark, don't take me to the hospital because it's a lady with a black hat on at the desk. If she see me, she gonna take me from you and she ain't gonna give me back. So you know when people is going through that stage, they get a little delusional. They start talking. Mm-hmm. So he was saying he saw a lady in the black with a black hat that wanted to take him from me. So he wouldn't go in the hospital. Took him to the hospital. He said, "Why are we doing here?" I said, "Okay, we're not going to be able to get him to the hospital. He needed an IV real bad, something to clean him out." And so we went to the juice bar. And then when she came in and said, "Mark, come outside," came outside. And then I held him. I was holding his hand. He was like, "What's she talking about? What's she talking about?" I said, "It's all right." He said, then the next thing you know, his eyes rolled in the back of his head, and then I could feel the life drain out of his body. And then she got in, we rushed him to the hospital. I'm sitting in the back seat holding his head up so it don't, because if she make a right, his body gonna go this way. So I was like, yo, I'm holding his body while she driving. We get to the hospital. I run in, I go get the doctors and everybody. They come outside, get him out the car. And then they take him in, and then they said, after a while, they come out and said, we done everything that we could, and I'm sorry to tell you your friend's passed. That was one of the moments that I remember with Rob, other than being on stage and then laughing and going to after, the hotels and parties and stuff like that. And, he was really a good friend of mine because he wanted to be in Atlanta. He wanted to be around me, and he wanted to be around WAP. And, that's what he wanted. He wanted to live here. That's why he lived with me in my house. He lived in my house with me, and then we got evicted. And when I came home one day from work, I saw all Black Rob stuff out in the yard where they had evicted us. So that's just how much we've been through that nobody really understands. You know what I mean? I used to take Rob to dialysis in the morning, go to work, come back and pick him up, or have my cousin would go pick him up. And that was every day. They'd call and be like, Rob is ready to get picked up. Rob is ready to get picked up. And I'd be in the middle of work. I'd be like, yo, Rob is ready. We got to go pick him up, take him back home. That went on for a while, to where I couldn't even keep it up no more. I had too much going on. I lost a place. I moved into a hotel. So when I moved into a hotel, I couldn't bring nobody with me. So Rob went back to New York.
Hey, yo, what's up? This is Mr. Keith Murray, Def Squad LOD, and you're now tuned into the who?
M-Rec and Rip Show.
M-Rec and Rip Show. See how I included you in that?
This Keith Murray interview is sponsored by the M-Rec and Rip Show. Subscribe to the channel on YouTube. The links is in the descriptions and the comment below. And also, you subscribers gonna get your chance to win money, prizes, gift cards. All right? We got a raffle coming.